All right. Good evening. We are getting ready here to get started on our third installment of the Single Distillery Blind Flight series. We started a couple months ago. After we taste through everything here tonight, we will pit the winners, the top two from tonight, top two from last month, and top two from 2 months ago, head to head to head next month to see of the winners from our top three distilleries, which one is going to go forward. I guess without any further ado, since we're all here, let's go ahead and get into sample number one. Welcome back. Well, Chris, how about you give us your first thoughts here, since you're right next to me here on the lineup?
Oh, of course. This one changed even over the 2 minutes we had. I got a lot of cedar, like fresh cedar on the nose. Thought overall this was young. Had a lot of ethanol to it, so it burned. And I associated that with a little bit of white pepper on the back end because my tongue did tingle for a little bit. Other than that, I just put light cherry and a lot of corn. I just thought that this one was pretty right down center lane. Not much to it. Just young and a little bit of boozy ethanol taste to it. But once I went back to the nose, all I could get was like fresh cedar.
Are you muted?
Me?
Oh, I think Will was.
Oh.
I was trying to say, Thomas, you're next.
All right. I'm regretting not having a warm-up beverage before this a little bit, but overall, on the nose, I was getting like a sweet, woody aroma off of it, maybe a little bit of like a cerealness on the nose. As far as when I was taking the first sips of it, it was definitely like I got a lot of peppery heat in there, and yeah, the ethanol, like it was said too, there's a lot of alcohol in there, but I also didn't warm up with anything. Overall, it was pretty good, but I didn't find anything like particularly like outstanding about it, but it was pretty good.
All right, excellent. I guess next we will move on to let's go with Jackie first.
So same as Thomas, I wish I would have had a warm up for, but on the nose, maybe it was like fruity. I got maybe orange and apple. And then for taste, it was like sweeter caramel, lots of vanilla. I liked it though.
Sorry. On the nose, I got like dark cherry, and then on the tasting, I got like a chocolate cherry, and it finished with like a roasted marshmallow to me. It's pretty good.
Sounds like you described something pretty tasty.
Yeah, I liked it.
Jason?
Okay, so first nose on this one, I got a little bit of a clove up front with maybe a little bit of licorice on it. That not like right in your face with it, but more of like just settles in the background because this is probably a young whiskey, probably um, a little bit lower proof, but like I said, it's more ethanol forward, so I would say that's what tells me it's a younger whiskey. Um, there is definitely some honey in there, some toffee, vanilla notes in there, and everything like that. That is kind of standard right straight through with bourbons there. So, and I did get the cherry, but on the very back end of it, I got a sweet bread note, like a honey cornbread. I think is the best way to describe what I describe that. So, overall, pretty good.
Awesome. So when I put it up to my nose, first thing I thought was cola, and I'm like, no, it can't be cola. I just called my warm up glass tasting like cola, and I got into it a little longer, and it kind of made me think of like red cream soda. So that's slightly fruity, slightly vanilla, a little bit abrasive. On the palate, it was really mild at first, and then it developed into kind of a wet wood type thing to me. And it finished out slightly medicinal. Fortunately, the finish went away pretty quickly. With everyone here, I think we forgot to do this the last time I hosted. Where would you put this on your thumbs-o-meter? All right, we got 2 I like it's, and the rest are eh. All right, well, let's move on to the second sample in the group. All right. Well, I see Jackie smiling. Let's start with her.
I was laughing at our dog, but on the nose, I got like cinnamon and lots of pepper, which also I feel like followed through on the taste. But then it had like an earthy finish. So my laughing, I feel like, did not go along with how I felt about it.
Okay. Josh?
On the nose, I got like a. It almost smelled like tea to me, and then it tasted to me. This is kind of weird, but I got like a black pepper at first, and then like that cough drop medicine taste. So yeah, not really my thing.
All right. I definitely got a lot of wood on the front, and then it wasn't really like a good charred caramelized wood. It was like raw furniture wood, really sharp on the tongue. It kind of made me think of like hot cinnamon candies, but not like the good name brand ones, but like the ones that are kind of waxy in your mouth. The finish was long, and I'm with you, Josh. It was not my favorite thing to put in my mouth. Let's go with Jason.
Yeah, so I'm kind of with you guys there. The initial thing I got with it was like a damp wood flavor on the nose. I guess I just said that flavor on the nose. With a little bit of black tea on the backside of it. But as like a super when I say black tea, it's like you left the tea bag in there for like an hour and you just let it soak and soak and soak. This is definitely something that has a lot of tannin in it, but not good tannin. This is not sweet oak. This is feels a little bit over oak or but still young at the same time. So this is an interesting one. Yeah, agree. Not my favorite.
Chris, let's get your impressions.
So I thought that this one, was a little bit better than the first, at least for me. I got like shaved wood. There's definitely like a lot of wood. I think, Will, as you were saying, it didn't really get the dampness, but definitely a lot of like shaved wood. I also wrote down, I got a bunch of honey and cereal notes as well. And I put like sharp pear. There's something kind of sharp there. It wasn't really like a pepper note, but it was something, a little bit of bitterness. It was very sharp. And then for the mouthfeel, I wrote a little bit of leather, vanilla orange. I definitely got that earthy taste, I think, as Jackie was saying. And then as you're saying as well, is a little bit of a medicinal note. Definitely a long finish on this one, but it just seemed a little bit off to me. I thought this one was a little bit proofier. I had it about 110, but definitely young, kind of like a fake wood over oak something. I mean, I did like it better than one, but definitely not my favorite.
All right. And Thomas.
Initially, I thought I was going to like it on the nose. It was a little bit weaker. I was hard to pick out too much stuff. I was getting kind of like a woody smell to it. The first taste I had, immediately it hit me as sweet, and then that immediately washed away into something that was kind of like the red hot candies is what I had down, which, yeah, I completely agree with, like the cinnamon candies. But then that all went away, and it just became bad. I did not care for it after that. I had a long finish that I wished that would just go away. That's about all I felt like. I just, the first impression was I was going to like it, and then just kind of faded into stuff I didn't like.
All right. I think everyone has a pretty unanimous consensus here, but let's get the thumbs out here for the sake of control. All right, then.
No one kicked you in the mouth. That's what that did.
It didn't make me. It's not peated, so it could be worse.
It could be worse. Yep.
At least by my palate. Let's get into the last of the first half here, and then we will take a short pause to relax our palates after that. Welcome back. Well, since I've started with Jackie here twice on that screen here, let's get with Josh first.
Yeah, I got red starburst on the nose, and that kind of just followed through all the way for me. It just had like a lot of candy taste to me. I like it.
Mine straight off the bat was like pure honey, very strong honey. And the taste, I couldn't quite figure out. I mean, I still got the honey. Josh says I ruined it by saying this, but like it reminds me of a honey cough drop. I don't know. Indifferent.
Okay. You've spoken. Jason, your impressions.
First on the nose, I got like more like a cola syrup note on it. It's like you just took the straight syrup, no carbonation, no soda water in there, and that's kind of what I got on the nose. But then on the palate, it was kind of the same things that we've been talking about: cinnamon red hots, herbal teas, black pepper. They're kind of all in there. One thing is thinking about it, this is a single distillery, so it's kind of like, okay, there's probably not a lot of variation in the different products that we're tasting through right now, and so yeah, we'll see.
It definitely reminded us it is single distillery, so yeah, some common flavors. I heard you say tea, and I'm like, wait, Chris said tea on the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas, your impressions.
This one was much better than the last one. On the nose, I was getting like a lot of like fruity, almost like a dark cherry smell. And then tasting through it, I got a little bit more of that fruity cherry. And then maybe some like dark chocolate where it had a little bit of bitterness mixed with the cherry. And then, but yeah, it still had like that cinnamon in there as well. But overall, I liked this one.
Excellent. Chris.
Yeah. So I like this one the best so far. Just pull my notes in front of me here. A lot of oats, and I got a whole bunch of vanilla on the nose too, which was really nice. And kind of what Thomas was saying, I got cherry definitely. I wrote mine as like fresh cherry. I didn't think it quite had the complexity to be something a little bit darker. On the mouthfeel, I wrote that it was balanced with a lot of just a fruit. I don't know if it was like a cornucopia of fruit. It just seemed very pleasant to me. I actually wrote down the word pleasant, and then a little bit of it was some kind of floral note I got. I put orange blossom. I'm not sure if it was that or if it was a little bit more of like a honey mixed with like a fruit flavor, but it was, I mean, overall, I definitely really like this one. I seen that this one would have been one I'd be sipping on the rocks out at the pool or out at the lake when it's nice and hot outside. I thought this one was kind of right down where you'd want to be on a nice hot summer day.
You've just described something that sounds delicious. I don't disagree with you here. My aroma notes: bright, fruity, fresh fruits, a little bit of wood. After the last one, especially with its long souring finish, it was a relief to get this on my palate. It lit it up. I have to guess that this is a lower proof than the one we just had, because I didn't have really any discernible warmth, but sweet cloves. I kind of, I don't know if it's the fall weather outside, but I said apple butter, like a cooked, reduced, concentrated apple with spices. Long, drying on the sides of my palate. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm with Thomas. Of the ones we've had so far, this is my favorite. Thumbs, it sounds like everyone aside from Jackie had a really positive experience. All right. Brief pause here for our palates. I know that we have the impending announcement of the Advent box, so look for that tomorrow. We're finding out the details tomorrow early evening, and I'd say look for a post both in the Discord and on Facebook about when it goes on sale and where the pricing is going to be sometime tomorrow evening. Obviously, other upcoming items. We've got the conclusion of this series with the top three in November. We haven't found down a date. It's definitely not going to be the Saturday after Thanksgiving because, well, everyone is going to be usually with family at that time. So we'll figure out an alternate date. And then we do have a date on the calendar for the Whiskey Society holiday party, and I do believe that is set for the first Friday. Did I have that right, Jason?
Yes, I believe so. Looking at the calendar right now.
I suppose I
believe
could have
that-
prepared and had that on my screen.
I believe that is true. It is the first Friday in December there.
Which
Christmas
anyone who
is
made it out
the
to
6th.
excellent. Anyone who made it out to last year's knows it's a hoot. Don't miss it. Anything else you can think of that we need to kind of go over here?
I think that about much covers it. So
Takes us through the end of the year.
yeah.
Well, I guess if we don't have anything else, let's get on with sample 4.
Okay.
All right, it's amazing how quickly 2 minutes goes when you're trying to find specific flavors to name. Well, let's start with Thomas this time.
On this one, I don't know if my palate's just warming up from the other one so far, but well, I guess the nose first off. I was getting like vanilla, but it was like a weaker nose. Didn't have anything too discernible to pick up. Flavor kind of felt the same way. Felt like maybe a lower proof. I was just getting like just standard flavors of just like a little bit of like maybe like a caramelish. Still had a little bit of that cinnamon, but not nearly the amount that the others had. It just didn't seem to have as much going on in it to me.
All right, excellent. Let's get Jason here.
So I said that this one on the nose had a sweet and funky nose to it. Well, by that I meant like it's sweet up front and then it trails off and there's like the best way to describe it is just the funkiness on the backside of it. It's not like, I don't think it's ultra aged or anything like that. There's just maybe what it is more like a yeasty note to the backside of it, like sourdough bread rising or something like that. So then I, on the palate and everything like that, I actually wrote down and questioned this: is this a wheated? Is there some wheat in this one here? At the backside of it, it had a little bit of spices and maybe tobacco with it, a little bit note on the very tail end of it, but it finished very smooth and easy. So
Well, you hit on many of the things that I wrote down. Amazing. I took toasted oat, vanilla, and cherry as my initial hits on the nose, which I think I've said those things at least once before so far in this tasting. Flavor, sweet and round. I definitely got some of the square caramel candies experience going on. And as the flavor just kind of wound its way out on my tongue, it had a flavor that I associate with the smell of unburnt pipe tobacco, like some of the stuff that's really aromatic but not like acrid. All in all, I definitely liked it. And let's see here. Let's go with Jackie first.
All right. Well, mine's definitely not that detailed. On the nose, I got a lot of lemon, which I don't know that I've ever really gotten lemon before, and maybe some vanilla. And then the taste, I couldn't quite figure out, like maybe some sort of fruit, like grape or something, and maybe some oak. I don't know.
Yeah, I got pledge all the way through. Smell. I don't know what pledge tastes like, but it tastes like it smelled.
I think I've used that tasting note before. All right. And I believe, Chris, you are the last one here.
So I thought that this was one of my favorites that we've had so far. On the nose, I got honey, light wood, and I finally got that cinnamon note that everybody's been talking about. I haven't got that really as like a strong note out of any of the other first three that we've had. I really like the complexity of the mouthfeel on this one. I said it was complex in nature, medium long finish, a lot of caramel, vanilla. I kind of wrote like a bunch of dark fruits kind of mixed together. I put down cherry, orange, and grape, but I thought the cherry kind of took the running on that. Overall, about 100 proof on this one. I really like this one. I thought, it was thicker than, I think it was number 3 that I liked previously to this. It had a little bit better of a mouthfeel to it, even though it didn't burn as much as number 3, and definitely not as number 2. But overall, I'd probably say that this is my front runner so far, just from the complexity of it.
Awesome. Let's get a show of thumbs. Where are we at on this? Okay, overwhelmingly not negative. All right. We're moving quite along here. I guess we can get started with number 5 out of 6 here. Hopefully, cheers. All right. Well, that was certainly interesting to me. I guess I'll go first here. So I don't know if I've done that so far tonight here. Toasted honey, finish wood, really quite fruity on the nose. Bright citrus, honey, floral, first flavor notes, a little bit warming. Pink peppercorns, and I think this is the first time tonight I've gotten almost like the cardamom, like the generic fruit note. Finish, long and low, but it was still sweet and enjoyable. I'd have this one again. Chris, let's get you in here next.
Right along with you, Will, on this one. I got a lot of honey. Again, I got the cinnamon finally for the second one. Definitely bright. This one's definitely going to be number one for me over number 4. Even though I said I liked 4 a bunch. Honey caramel. I got black pepper. I'm not really sure I know what pink pepper tastes like, Will. A nice long finish. I did get a bunch of drying oak on the end, but the finish did kind of linger a little bit in my chest. I thought this one was a little bit proofier, maybe 105 to 110-ish, but definitely very pleasant. Like this one a lot. The complexity of it was good. I thought it was very honey forward with a little bit of bright fruit on the end.
Awesome. Let's get Jackie's notes in here.
I agree with Chris. This is my favorite one so far. Seemed the most complex, and it kept seeming to change. On the nose, I got maybe some orange or fruit and caramel. And then on the taste, I got some sort of fruit again, sweet, maybe like a nutty taste. I liked it.
Awesome. And we're gonna break you up here.
Oh.
Jason, your tasting notes, sir.
So I got orange peel, honey, and oak on the nose there. And then I went in on the taste and that a little bit of almond in there with the cinnamon. It's almost like those fair nuts, like you candied almonds type things with a little bit of cinnamon and sugar on it. And then there was definitely a drying note on the backside of it, almost like a powdered cocoa, or not sweet cocoa, just the powdered baking chocolate. And it's just a drying note with on the backside of it a little bit. So pretty good.
Awesome. All right, Josh, let's get your notes here.
Got a lot of caramel on the nose. Definitely a lot going on the taste. I had some oak, some vanilla, maybe a little cinnamon on the finish. Kind of a more complex one for me. My favorite so far.
Well, we're hearing a theme here. Thomas, your impression?
This one was what I wanted number 2 to be, I think. It was how number 2 was just that very start and then became bad. And this one didn't. It just stayed the way I wanted it to. It was like that cinnamon candy with a longer finish, but the finish I didn't want out of my mouth. And then the nose of it, I was getting a lot of fruit, oak, and like a little bit of a honey and vanilla smell out of it. I really liked this one a lot.
Well, I'm pretty sure I know what I'm going to see when I ask for some thumbs here. Yeah, I don't think anyone said they wouldn't have that again. I'm kind of interested to revisit 1 and 2 because I obviously didn't like them as much, but my palate wasn't quite as well warmed up. So obviously the proof is when we go back to revisit here after we're done with sample 6.
But I think we can all say right now 2 is probably at the bottom of our list. Just
This time, yeah.
it might be by a lot. Unless we're surprised on the revisit.
Yeah, that's what the revisit's for.
All right. Well, on to sample 6. right. Well, let's start our impressions here with Jason on this one. I saw you were deep in thought.
Yeah, this one's good. I mean, this is definitely in, I would say definitely in the top 4. You've got those sweet flavors with the caramels, the toffees, the vanillas in there and everything. Not as drying as some of the other ones have been. And I would also say probably not as fruity as some of the other ones have been. This kind of, I would say this is probably above 100 proof, and but it doesn't drink that like doesn't drink like it's super high proof either. So we'll see.
All right. Well, let's get Thomas's impressions here.
I didn't care for it a lot. I think it's just coming off the last one that I liked so much. I think maybe. As far as the flavors go, I was getting like some funky stuff maybe going on with it, like medicinal cherry, some clove. The finish was definitely better than I think actually drinking it. I like the way it finished better than actually having it in my mouth. It wasn't my favorite, but I didn't hate it. That's how I felt about it, I guess.
So you feel better about it than number 2, but not quite number 4.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get Josh's impressions here.
I got like a sweet smell. The first like sip I had reminded me of I don't even know what it's called. What's the sauce in the center, like a shrimp ring called?
Cocktail sauce.
There we go.
Love
Cocktail
you.
sauce. All right. That's what it tasted like to me at first. And then I tried it again. It was more like a burnt marshmallow. But not my favorite.
Neither of those things sound good to me.
Yeah.
Jackie, your notes?
I struggled with this one. The only thing I wrote down was toasted. I didn't love it, but I didn't dislike it. Yeah, don't have a lot to say about it.
All right. We'll get Chris up here.
Yeah, I'm kind of unsure where I sit on this one as well. Definitely don't get cocktail sauce mixed with whatever Josh said. I wrote down honey oak and white pepper on the nose. I got the red hots on the flavor, as well as some bright orange / cherry is what I wrote down. So a little bit of mixture of fruit. I thought the orange came through a little bit more on this one, and I got a pretty heavy corn presence on this one. Medium to long finish. Figured this one was about 105 proof. A little bit complex. I think the mouthfeel and everything on this one seemed it was when we go back to is visit between this one and 3 and 4. I kind of think that this might be third, second in my list of the 6 that we've had so far. I mean, it was good, tasty, but it definitely lacked a little bit than some of the other ones did. But overall, felt pretty good on this one. It was pretty neutral and approachable, but definitely had some, I wouldn't say astringencies, but a little bit of rough edges on the sides.
Sounds about right. I wrote mixed peppercorns on the nose with mixed. If you mash those into honey and let them sit there for a while, so you get some of the floral notes from the honey with the spices. Flavor, it kind of was like if you took a pineapple and smashed it with some dragon fruit and then dumped some of that spicy honey on top of it, and it finished out as kind of like if you chewed on, I don't know, a chunk of wood and also some toffee at the same time. I liked the aroma. I liked the flavor. The finish for me was not where I wanted it to be. All in all, I'm going to just give it a middle of the road. I enjoyed it while I was drinking it. I just need to not stop drinking it. All right. Well, we've been through all 6 samples here. We've definitely heard some mixed thoughts. Obviously, we've got a favorite, which hopefully will stand the test through the side-by-sides. But let's get some tastes here. Come up with your order, rank 1 through 6. Then I'll collect everyone's, and we'll reveal what we've been drinking. But before we do that, I'll give anyone who wants to make a guess on the distillery an opportunity to see if they know where we're from.
I had a guess, but I'm going to keep my reservations at this point.
Yeah, I mean, at least figure out which one you like best first, and which one you like least first.
I know. I think I have a distillery, then I don't. Is it one of the major distilleries, kind of like the other ones?
Yeah. They had enough offerings for 6 not to be all of them.
Okay.
Because that would have been really, really, really challenging. Maybe one day. Oh, wow. Has anyone revisited sample 2? On the nose, it kind of smells like spoiling cheese to me now.
Oh, no.
Really?
Yeah.
I know for a fact this isn't Dickel,
Oh.
but this is a smell that I associate with Dickel.
Oh, now I can get it. You didn't ruin that. Well, I didn't like it in the first place, so.
Not to throw anybody off, but I remember the flavor profile that OHLQ put out for the single barrel wild turkey rye that Pocken got, and I was able to get one that day. And one of the flavoring notes on it was cream cheese, and that's all I can taste anytime that I taste that bottle now.
I don't think I've ever seen a cream cheese as a flavor note.
Yeah, OHLQ put that out, and that's all I can taste anytime I taste that bottle now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one that changed the most for me so far is number 4. Really blowing me away right now.
Yeah, it has. I've upgraded its position in my ranking, that's for sure.
Well, I just wish I could have your tasting notes. Yours are always my favorite.
Yeah, I still get Pledge, number 4. Isn't mine.
Definitely can see that, Josh.
Yeah.
That really bright aroma. I like it very much.
So you like it very much, or you don't like it?
Number 4?
Yeah.
I like it very much.
All right.
Wow. Revisiting number 1, it is much proofier than I remember it being.
Yes.
Sounds like both.
It was good last Monday.
Is that correct? my chair into the computer beside me.
Actually.
All right. Well, I'm set with my rankings. Anyone else ready to go? Take your time. There's no rush. We're well ahead of where we normally are at this time. Apparently, I just didn't take enough time to discuss things. Is it bad that I still think I prefer my control glass?
Ooh.
Not necessarily.
It definitely has such a more interesting aroma.
I'll say this, that I've never smelt the notes on my control glass that I've smelt after tasting this.
That's it. I've got so many more like fruity, bright vanilla. It's like, okay, this is so different.
Me too. My water.
That Kirkland water can.
Really changes it.
I hear it crushable.
Crushable right there.
All right. Is everyone locked in?
Still not convinced that I know what distillery this is, but I'm still trying to think.
Well, let's get some rankings, and then you can make a call on distillery after that. How about that?
Good.
All right. Jackie, you were the first one to raise your hand here. So where are we at?
5, 1, 4,
Hold
6.
on. Are you top to bottom or bottom to top?
My favorite was 5, 1, 4, 6, 3, 2.
Perfect. Josh?
I'm going my favorite to least favorite, and that's going to be 5, 3, 1, 4, 6, 2.
All right, Jason.
Top to bottom. 4, 5, 6, 1, 3, 2.
Thomas?
Top to bottom was 4, 5, 3, 1, 6, 2.
I'm seeing a theme with number 2. Chris?
Top to bottom, 5, 6, 4, 3, 1, 2.
All right, and then I was 4, 3, 5, 1, 6, 2.
You don't want to change it up, Will?
I think we all agree on number 2. It's on the sheet. I'll do some tabulation here. While I'm doing that, we should be wrapped up here pretty quickly.
So now's the time we can take and get guesses.
Absolutely.
I knew it was going to be a major distillery. I thought at first it could have been Bardstown, but definitely not.
Thomas, any guesses?
No.
Josh, Jackie?
I was going to guess with the cherry notes that I had on some of them, Buffalo Trace. But...
Yeah, I always get grape with Buffalo Trace.
I don't know. What do you normally get cherry with you?
Well, Josh, you nailed it. It's Buffalo Trace.
Woo!
Really?
Absolutely.
I usually get grape on everything.
And
Buffalo
Joe's calling
Trace.
me right now in
Wow.
the middle of the stream. I'll call him back later. I mean, I guess here from the notes here, anyone now knowing that it's Buffalo Trace, any guesses on what was where? I'm still doing a quick bit of the math.
Ooh.
Yeah, I can't go that deep. Not gonna happen.
I got guesses for number 2.
I'm gonna say ancient age on that one.
I'm
Dan.
gonna go with benchmark foolproof.
Ooh. It was a little spicy, so yeah, maybe.
Was it 125 proof spicy is the question.
Yeah.
It was super young and super spicy.
Anyone with anything else on the other bottles? All right. Well, we've definitely got a spread here. Our lowest score is obviously bottle 2 with 36, which is the lowest possible score. Or, well, the lowest possible position. We've got, let's see, 6, 1, and 3 that are all fairly close together, and then between 4 and 5, they were definitely the preferred options here. So let's reverse from the lowest to the highest. Sample number 2 in final place with 36 points. You absolutely nailed it. It is benchmark foolproof. At 125 proof, it is a very inexpensive bottle, and obviously it showed through on the flavor profile here. In 5th place with 24 points, we have sample number 6. Obviously, it wasn't my favorite, but we had some people that preferred it. Any guesses here on what we've got here in this bottle?
Buffalo Trace.
It's a Buffalo Trace. It is the Buffalo Trace Kosher Rye at 94 proof. So I think the rye spice was tricking him to thinking it was proofier than it was.
I don't think I've ever tried that.
All right. 4th place, we've got sample number 1 with a score of 22 points. I guess as we've been going through here, any guesses on what that bottle is?
Eagle Rare.
Elmer Tea Leaf.
AAA.
Anyone? So that is the Weller Antique 107.
Oh.
All right. And then in 3rd position with a score of 21 points, only 1 point different from sample 1, we've got sample number 3. Sample number 3. Any guesses?
I would guess maybe that's Eagle Rare because I usually get a lot of cherry from that. I don't know.
I'll say Blanton's on that one.
Anyone else?
Blanton's too.
Well, Thomas, that absolutely Eagle Rare. Which I've never really gotten too much cherry out of Eagle Rare, but clearly I got cooked fruit, apple butter, ? Right here into the top 2. So these are the ones that will be carrying forward into the finale, where they will face off against what do we got? Jim Beam's Single Barrel and a Old Granddad 114, as well as from last month, I believe it was a select stock, and what was the other one?
It was a select stock mezcal.
Yes.
And it wasn't it Larceny?
Larceny barrel proof, yeah. The B524, I think.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. So, second place, we've got sample number 4 with only 13 points. Any guesses? All right. We've got Baby Sazerac Rye.
Ooh.
Inexpensive and available in most places.
Yeah.
And that means that sample number 5, with only 10 points, which is pretty close to as low as it can be. We've got our winner. Guesses? Anyone?
Hopefully not Bland's.
Is it the horsey? I don't think it is.
Well, I've got some unfortunate news.
Oh, no.
Number 5 in first place. It's not just Blanton's; it's Blanton's Gold.
Okay. I'll take that.
I had that for the first time ever a few weeks ago down at the Oyster Bar in White House, or Waterville.
All right. Well, did you like it when you had it?
Yeah, I thought it was run-of-the-mill Blanton's on a little bit of steroids, but not super big. But it was definitely enjoyable, yes.
Well, obviously, we all enjoyed it as we found it. We don't really have. I mean, look at that. We're just a minute over our runtime. This. I don't know if this has ever happened before.
Is that a record?
Well, everyone, thanks for joining tonight. It was great to taste through this here, and hopefully we got some good participation for our wrap-up next month.
Thanks, Will, for hosting. Good to see some of you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much.
It's always fun. I'm hoping that this can be a at least regular thing through the winter months when people don't have 10,000 things going on outside and in various locations with the barbecues and the vacations and the trips that happens all too often through the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Good night.
Cheers. Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.